Hello, beautiful cyber family. How are you all today? Thank you so much for being here, you guys. Amazing to see all your beautiful faces again. And it doesn't feel like it's been very long because we had so much fun last weekend connecting on the house party live stream. So absolutely loved it. We had a 3-day party here, you guys. If you missed it, don't worry because there's another one coming up next weekend. Oh my God. So super inspired this week because next week is Halloween. Oh, and it's kind of like, you know, it's kind of made for us, right? Halloween, it's just, you know, it's our thing. It's our thing. Let's own it. I feel we need to own it. So totally awesome and very exciting because as some of you will know, we did have a house party live stream last week. So that what that means is like 3 days of continuous music, just streaming music all weekend long. Amazing like music, visuals, we had Space Jam, we got Mr. X in there, we got so much going on in this house party live stream. Very cool. And the beauty of it is that we have that like 24-hour chat going on the whole weekend as well. So it's a really awesome time. Absolutely love it because, you know, I get to connect with you guys like it's ongoing, you know, 24 hours a day for like 3 days straight. It's just awesome. So, you know, we come and go and we hang out and there's some people doing some marathon stints on there like Lothar and Michelle Faith kind of like holding the thing together and right through the wee hours. So I just love it. You know, there's that real kind of cyber family feel and vibe going on through there. So very cool and very excited about next weekend because, okay, here's the thing, right? We haven't done this before over here. There's going to be a 3-day house party live stream and a hangout live stream like this as well on the same weekend. I'm trying not to yell into this thing and deafen you because I'm so excited about it. But seriously, it's Halloween, people. Let's go big. Let's go large. It's going to get a bit crazy over here. We're going to have some really silly stuff going on in the set and I can't wait. I've been having some fun kind of like preparing for that already. And you're dressing up a little differently and all that kind of thing. Big, awesome, yay, fun for Halloween. So we have got to do the whole house party into a hangout stream. Don't quite know how I'm going to make that all work yet, but it's going to happen. And then we will keep it going. So it's kind of like, you know how normally the live stream will go, the house party will go through to a Monday night or something like that. We will be here and then we'll go back to some music. Awesome. So beautiful people. It is going to be all happening over here today. I'm so inspired about next week and the Halloween live stream. Can't even tell you, just so looking forward to it. But just in case you missed the last week's house party live stream, the 3-day affair, you know, all of that, I just want to give you a little kind of taster of one of the clips that I put into that. It's kind of like, I have a lot of fun with actually creating the visuals for this because sometimes it's nice to do a blend of a video clip into some cool sort of trancey visuals and then, you know, change it up a little bit as well. So it's not just, you know, change just my music videos over and over on repeat because that would probably get a little tiresome. We have like Space Jam, we have Mr. X, we have all sorts of amazing remixes and things in there. So it is always changing up. But I want to give you guys a little taster of what was there in the house party live stream. Here we go.
Sens-tu ce que j'ai envie que tu fasses? Ne sais-tu pas à quel point je suis à toi, troublé par toi, je ne pense que toi, mon cœur sauvage battant de désir ardent. Je suis à toi.
beautiful people. That is a bit of Je suis à toi for you aujourd'hui. Yes, Robin Carter is down for you in French. Je suis à toi is exactly what that is. Je suis à toi literally means I'm yours. And it's really beautiful how that particular song just became that much more romantic just by putting it into French. And absolutely love that version. Here we go. Tip of the week time, everyone. Absolutely love it. And this week is a really, really inspiring sort of topic for me. I wanted to share with you guys something dear to my heart, and it's really like why you should never give up on what you love, you know. And clearly I think when you love something, you'll do what it takes to see it through and all of that. But you know, there's always challenges in the journey, and there's challenges that sometimes can really push you kind of to the limit of what you think you can tolerate, what you think you can do. So it's so important, I think, to see it through. And so I wanted to share with you guys a little story of my sort of journey with music and growing up and all of that, just as a way to kind of share, the way that this has definitely played out in my life, and it's definitely been interesting. So as some of you all know, I started playing piano at the age of 4. So I started pretty early on. I'm super grateful now to my parents to, you know, get me started so early. But part of the thing was my piano teacher had said to my mum that if you get them in before the age of 5 and they get this sort of sense of pitch and musicality and that kind of thing, if you get in there before 5 years old, then you've got it for life. So that was part of their reasoning, like, let's go, okay, let's, you know, get her involved. And I mean, I'd been begging, this is weird, right? Because I'd been begging my parents for a piano from maybe the age of 3. I'd never even touched one. I was too small to like get up there and, you know, I'd never even touched one, but I was like, can we get a piano? Can we get a piano? And fortunately, my dad did play piano. So bless his heart, he, you know, indulged on that one, and it was something that he wanted anyway as well. Thank God. So fantastic. My parents did, you know, indulge and actually get a piano into the house. And so they booked me in to have lessons from the age of 4. So as it turned out, and as I went into, you know, school and all of that, my lessons were once a week before school. But I think it was about an hour before school, you know, literally like get up extra early, and mum would take me there and I'd have my little piano lesson, and then she'd drive me off to school afterwards. So I didn't mind going, you know, I really was enjoying the piano, and I did find that it was kind of pretty natural for me in the beginning. Like I definitely took quite naturally to it, and I was enjoying it, and you know, it was good for my confidence because I'm trying something new and it's going pretty well, and I felt, you know, that was working for me, and that kind of kept going that way, I'd say, for the first few years. You know, it was quite easy, it was quite flowing, I wasn't feeling overly challenged by it. And it sort of started to change a little bit for me, because as you progress, and I found the teacher was choosing the pieces that I was playing, and some of them were really quite bad. I mean, you've probably heard kids play piano and you go, why are they playing something that's crap? You know, it's not good, right? Some of the things that you learn, you know, it's all about advancement. It's all about learning, and it's all about, you know, developing your skills. But some of the pieces, let's be honest, are really bad, and they're not rewarding to play. So, you know, I was starting to get a bit bored of that, and she was obviously choosing pieces that were challenging me and starting to, you know, make me grow and all that kind of thing. But I didn't see that. I just thought it was, you know, horrible music, and this is what I'm being forced to play kind of thing. And then probably about 4 or 5 years in, I think, it started to get really hard. You know, I'm not cruising along in my comfort zone anymore. It's like I actually had to apply myself. I had to really concentrate, and I had to practice more. It was definitely not as easy as it used to be. And the expectation on me then at that time was to practice 2 hours a day. Now, you know, I was not necessarily a massively outspoken child. I was pretty shy. I was really quite, you know, timid in a lot of ways. And I really didn't want to be practicing 2 hours a day on stuff that was hard. It's like you're already at school, you got homework, you just want to come home and veg out and watch TV, or, you know, hang out with your friends and that kind of thing. I really was not enjoying it. I started begging my mum to let me quit, and I was like, look, I'm not enjoying this anymore. I just don't want to do it anymore. It's really hard and all this sort of thing. And bless my mum's heart, she wouldn't let me quit. She would not let me quit. And I was just not enjoying it anymore. You know, the practice thing, I was, you know, my dad would be like, have you done your practice? And I'm like, no, all right, I will, you know, not loving it. And basically I just got upset. I was really fed up with it. And one week, it was it. I just had enough. I didn't practice at all. It was really kind of naughty. I just did not practice at all. Not even one bit. I didn't even open my books. I didn't play it at all. I was just fed up. Didn't want to do it. I was so annoyed. And it was just getting, as I said, too hard, you know, too difficult, all that kind of thing. So the next week, I turn up to my piano lesson. And it's really, really obvious to my piano teacher that I have not practiced at all. And she confronted me about it, and she's like, you haven't practiced at all in the last week, have you? And I said, no. And so I'm probably, I think about 9 years old at this point. And I just started to cry because I felt so terrible. I was really annoyed, you know, like feeling guilty, feeling like, okay, I've been busted. I'm struggling with this, but she's called me out on it. And I felt so guilty, like I was just the worst student. And then, you know, I'd let her down, so I struggled through the lesson, and it was like I was really embarrassed that I hadn't even moved on at all. And then, of course, my mum comes to pick me up, take me to school afterwards, and I'm still like so upset, and I'm like crying, and she's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I haven't practiced the whole week, Mum. I'm like, oh no. I was like, so then I got the double dose of the guilt. And because, of course, not only have I let my piano teacher down, I felt like I let my mum down. And, you know, my parents are paying for these lessons and that sort of thing. Not that you really process all of that when you're 9 or whatever, but it's seriously, I was just like, oh no, this is terrible. And I felt so terrible. So, of course, I didn't want to go to school. I was just like, but there was no getting out of that. You know, my parents had good, strong boundaries. Love them for that. There was no getting out of that. So it was a very, very humbling day. Let's put it that way. You know, it was just one of those days you go, I would like a do-over on that day. That was pretty bad. I feel like the guilt was what I needed to kind of kick me up the butt, because it was like there was a big part of me. Yes, I did want to get good at the piano. Yes, I did want to learn and, you know, keep going with it and progress with it. And as much as I was still fighting against, you know, what I was playing or having to practice that much and all that sort of thing, I did want to get better. And so I kept going, and I definitely didn't want to feel that guilt again. So that was a good inspiration in a way to kind of, you know, push me into actually practicing. And then something changed. Something really significant changed, where my music teacher gave me a piece to learn called The Storm. It's in French, it's L'Orage by Bergmüller. And this particular piece was a real turning point for me. It was absolutely the most inspiring thing I'd ever played. It had the most dramatic classical feel to it, and it was completely different to anything else I'd been playing before or learned before. And when you can think of a storm and how you might translate that into actual music, it really was the journey of a storm. You know, it started off like this low rumble, and it built, and it was just, you know, started off slow, and then the dynamics and everything in this piece just took you right through that journey, where it's like that low rumble into this building into like the crescendo, and the whole thing's kind of coming crashing in, and it's dramatic and it's moving, and then of course it dies down and it subsides, and it just ends up in this really beautiful sort of gentle place. Amazing, amazing piece. Beautiful. And if you can imagine, for someone who's pretty shy, pretty timid and all of that, I was so moved by this piece. It was like I'd been given a new way to express myself, and through music, and it was like I was given permission to be loud and to be expressive, and you know, I was allowed to do it because it was through the music and through an artistic sort of form. So every year my piano teacher would have this kind of like little piano recital at her house. Really cute little thing. You can imagine all these little kids turning up with their parents and doing a little piano recital and that sort of thing. And so for me this year, I actually had a friend who just started learning piano, and she was there with me. And this year I played the storm, l'orage. And she was absolutely blown away by it. Like, she just loved the fact, because if you can imagine, you know, a little girl about 9-10 years old at this point, little tiny thing, getting up to a big grand piano and playing the most dramatic piece. You know, most of the little kids, as you could imagine, get up there and play something really cute and really small and, you know, just that sort of thing. And then you get someone to get up there and just go boom. Like, it's a real statement, like, bang, I'm here and this is what this piece is. And I was, you know, a timid little thing, and it was just like, bang, this big piece comes out of this little person. And my friend was just amazed by it. She just thought it was the best thing ever to, you know, like, go into this little space and just make such a big noise in a really, like, dramatic kind of piece. And she said there was almost like the stunned silence at the end of it, like, wow, what was that? Where did that come from? Kind of thing, in, you know, contrast to everything else that had been going on. And I was so humbled and blown away by that experience of just the impact of a really amazing piece of music and what it can do to people and how it can change the energy in a room and that sort of thing. And it also, you know, really opened my eyes to the benefits of seeing it through the hard times, because, you know, where it was difficult, where it was like challenging and all of that, it's like you've got to go through that to get to the good part. You know, the good part and the other side of all the struggles and the wanting to quit for probably 2 years straight and begging to quit. Getting through to that good part of really finding that expression and finding the niche and what works for you in there. You know, you've got to go through all of that to get to the good part. And that's where it becomes a natural form of expression for you, for whatever it is that is your thing. You feel that it's in you and you've got to do it. Just keep going and keep playing. That's basically it for me. You know, it was like, it does take a while. You know, if you've got to see it through the hard times, it does take a while. It does take practice. It does take work and all of that. But there's a part of you that will get so much fulfillment when you see it through and when you do what it takes. And it's like the gift in that is being given a way to really express yourself and find your form, your vehicle, your platform, you know, whatever it is for you. So that is what it is all about, my friends, beautiful people. And, you know, I truly believe that we all have something to say. Like, we all have our own unique way of saying it as well. Everyone's got their own, you know, unique platform and their own vehicle. And so my tip of the week for you beautiful people, cyber family, is, you know, never give up on what you love, because yes, it will be hard. Yes, it will be challenging, but I can guarantee you it'll be worth it. Yeah, the good bit is really just around the corner. You know, we all have significant moments in our lives, and that's something that I want to kind of spark in you today. And that was kind of part of my inspiration for sharing the story, is that we all have significant moments in our lives where we get confirmation or validation on something. And I believe it's like a signpost for everyone. You know, it's a sign of what you're here to do. And even though it may take a little while to come full circle and come back to you to get the message, it's like the pointers are always there. So maybe, you know, if you're inspired to, have a look in your own life where somebody's kind of given you that kind of feedback. You know, if there's been a moment or something in your life where you find it's been transformational, you know that it's been like a big signpost to say, hey, this is actually something that I'm here to do. That is the message I think that's really worth listening to. You know, those key moments really paint a picture of who you are and what you're here to do. And I think it's absolutely worth listening to, my friends. So we're going to wrap up the tip of the week this week with a little look at some highlights. Yay, highlights from some of the live performances. And when we come back, we're going to be getting into some Q&A. So definitely going to check out the chat over here and get into some questions with you guys. Fantastic. But yes, I want to have a little look at some of the highlights from some live performances, because it's so super inspiring. And when you think of like how close or how much I was like begging to quit, I think, thank God, right, that didn't happen. You know, who knows where I would be today if my parents had actually indulged that. So Any of you out there that are parents, big inspiration to you, set your boundaries with those kids. Don't let them quit when you know it's something they're naturally like drawn to. Just keep it going. They will be grateful later on, no matter how much they kick and scream at the time. So a little look, you guys, at some highlights. We got a little bit of Are You Ready over here today. That has been a bit of a theme of the week. And of course, a little look at a favourite of mine, Oblivion. So here we go. Enjoy. Thank you, beautiful people. All the little purple hearts going on over there. Love it. Thank you so much to all of you guys that have been responding to the questions and in the YouTube post and that sort of thing. We are getting into some Q&A time. A question from Alexei. What is your favourite season that you always look forward to? So lovely question, Alex. Thank you for that. I've got to say that spring here is amazing. Spring is definitely my favourite time of the year because it's before it gets too hot, and we just have the most amazing month of September here. It's like sunny every day, kind of like 20 degrees Celsius during the day, 25, and then gets cold at night, and it's like you can wrap up warm, and it is absolutely stunningly beautiful. So love spring. And I just saw a question come through. Trackers from Brandon. Are you self-taught video editor creator or have you studied? I am actually Trackers. I am self-taught. So it was really complete determination crazy amount of perseverance, but it was YouTube tutorials and just getting in there and learning it. And I'm on a Mac, so I use Final Cut Pro, and there was, basically like, it's a pretty user-friendly kind of system to use once you get in there and start to use the tools, and there's a lot of amazing stuff, you know, plugins and things you can use. But YouTube tutorials, especially for learning how to green screen and lighting and that sort of thing, I used a lot of YouTube tutorials. All right, and from Germund, Germund had a cute question, which was, what is your biggest fear? So going for a light approach on this, not like, you know, something heavy and serious, but, you know, in the sense of like spiders, snakes, whatever, that sort of thing. So this is kind of ironic in regards to how I am planning to kind of decorate the set next week for Halloween. This will give you kind of like a little hint, but I would say like one of my sort of squirmy kind of fears is definitely like spiders, but only when they get really big. Like I have absolutely no problem with spiders maybe up to about that size. Like, you know, I can still deal with them if they're like a decent sort of size, as long as I can do the like glass over it and slide the paper underneath it and then put them outside. I don't like to squash spiders. I do not. I don't know why. Yeah, I know, you know, respect for life or something, but you change that over to a cockroach and it's a whole different game. I don't know why. I have this like respect for spiders or something. I don't know what that's about. But it is like, yeah, there's a threshold where a spider just becomes too big. It's kind of like, okay, it's not a spider anymore. It's kind of like a small crab or a small animal, and then it's just, I can't deal with it anymore, and I just like, it's too big. If I put this glass thing over it and there's like, I get a leg coming out or something, it's like, oh, too much, can't deal. And yes, so that's probably one of my like little things that you might come across, you know, on a fairly regular basis. But being in Australia, of course, snakes are a very real thing here. You know, if you go out on like a hot day and you go walking through the bush, you'd be really, really stupid to not be like stamping loudly or anything, because there will be snakes coming out and they'll be, you know, basking in the sun and warming up and that kind of thing. And I have walked past snakes but not seen them. I've been walking with someone else who's seen them and gone, oh, okay, you just said, did you see the snake just see? I'm like, no. And that's kind of unnerving when you actually walk past them and didn't see them. But a friend of mine does have pet snakes, and I actually went round to her place and she was trying to get me to touch it and hold it and like pet it, and I'm like, oh, I really like them to look at. I think they're really majestic, and I kind of love the energy of snakes. I think they're really, really cool. I actually like them, and I could pet it, but I could not hold the thing. I just couldn't go to that, over that threshold. So it's something that's probably, I need to work at that, right, in my life. I will do it. I will conquer this thing. I promise you. I will do that one day in my life. It wasn't that day, and I didn't kind of go back in a hurry and go, oh, let's do that again. No, I mean, they're just weird, and they're cold, and they're kind of like, yeah, it's big. It felt like a bike tire or something, you know. It's just like a little weird, and I just could not. I don't know. I think you feel really out of control in the idea of like handling a snake, because they're long and they can like turn and twist and do things really quickly, and you just don't quite know what they're going to do. So it's a little bit scary, but yes, that is yeah, probably my two things: spiders and snakes. They're a little bit of a challenge to deal with. Yes, another quick one over here from Casey Strand. A lovely question. Thank you, Casey. And the question was, do you mix the music that you sing to, or work with another to collaborate to find what works with my singing? So sort of wondering how the productions come together. Basically, I do work on the music for most of my tracks, but I have a producer, Brad Gilbert, and he's like my main producer, does all the final production on the mixing and the mastering as well. So I'm always involved in the production, and like we might work together to do some edits, or, you know, like industrial mixes and that kind of thing. different songs I've had different levels of involvement with. You know, like a song like Kiss Me, some of the early stuff, like I wrote a lot of the music in that, and we worked together on the final production, final mixes. And then, you know, some more of the recent stuff, I've had a lot more involvement from Mr. X, and being a co-writer there as well. So it's often the two of us working on a lot of stuff, and then we might have other people collaborate. You know, we've had things like remixes that were so far removed from the original that we went, that is just awesome, I want to actually write some new vocals for that. And that was like how Human came about. Skyscrapers, you know, there's just like a lot of different things that go on, and how all the individual tracks actually come together. So yeah, there's always different things that go on, but I'm always generally involved in the final production, or just at least, you know, part of the process of the final creations. But yes, I'm very blessed to have an amazing producer, and that's why there is that, I think, consistency through the work. And you'll notice, you know, a lot of, and I think that's what I really love, like in the house party streams, right? Because you have, you know, Mr. X is very involved in a lot of the writing of like my music, and then you go into a Mr. X sort of set and into Space Jam, and there's this really nice continuity through it all, because that key person is part of all of it. So it's a really nice flow, I think, through all of that, and that's pretty much speaks for Get On Down as a label, and you know how it's all beautifully interconnected there. So I hope that answers your question, Casey. Yes, always involved, and I'm often writing and different equations for different pieces. But yes, love it. You're very welcome, Casey. Awesome. And great. So I don't know if I've missed any questions. Please feel free to email them through to me or message them through. I'd love to answer them next time on the stream as well. Fantastic. And so, having just referred to skyscrapers, we're going to wrap up the Q&A, you guys, with a bit of skyscrapers for you today, and sending some skyscraper love your way. All right.
Do you feel me now? 'Cause I'm reaching out. Can we make a vow that we're not leaving till we work this out? I believe in the power. Together we are stronger. We can rise above like skyscrapers. Together we stand so tall. Steel pillars, we will not fall. Up so high we can see it all. We are skyscrapers. We are skyscrapers. We are
Brioni, the cyborgs have been located and the cybernetic grid is active. The weapon is armed and ready.
Access to the Benedict fleet lane has been established. Weapon engaged.
All right, beautiful people. Jack had a question that I want to answer just before we move on. which was about when I go outside. I'm just scrolling back over here. I missed this one. Jack, do I wear boots while going outdoors or just sneakers and heels? Well, Jack, I'm a boots person. 100%. Pretty much. I think the only time I don't wear boots is maybe if I'm going to the beach. Even then I usually wear boots and then I take them off and walk down there. I wear boots all the time. Like all the time. I have different sets of boots for different reasons. So yeah, I'm wearing boots right now. I am not going to try and get them up here because that's not going to happen. Maybe another day. But yes, that is, yeah, boots are my thing. So there you go. I hope that answers your question. I'm definitely not... Sneakers, maybe if you're going for like some kind of bushwalk or something, you know. But not... Yeah, even still, I just have different boots for that. They're kind of like sneaker boots as well, anyway, for that. Yeah, big boots, little boots, every kind of boot. Love it. Alright, so we're going to wrap things up over here, people. Today, it has been an absolute pleasure, as always. Time flies with you guys. It's just amazing. And so super excited again to catch up with you next week, because we're going to be back here doing the live stream thing again, doing the Hangout thing, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So we're going to have some bit of craziness, a bit of Halloween theme going on through everything. So I haven't quite fully mapped out the costuming and all that what's going on, but I tell you what, it's going to get a little bit crazy over here for Halloween. So looking forward to that. That is going to be big fun. And of course, stay tuned. There's going to be notifications coming out, but we're going to be launching off the weekend with the house party live stream as well. Wow. So very cool. We're going to like have a crazy amount of music going into a live stream, into a Hangout, and back to some music as well, just to finish off the whole sort of Halloween weekend. How about that? That's amazing. So really looking forward to it. Planning a very special giveaway next week. That's why I want to keep everybody's names in there, keep the love in there, and we will absolutely carry that through to next week as well. I can barely contain myself. I'm so looking forward to it. Love it. Yay. Awesome. And so just want to give a big shout out as well, of course, to my beautiful patrons for your ongoing support. You make all of this possible. So just mwah, to you guys. And, you know, if you are inspired to join us, please, anyone who has super chatted, email me in between. Love to have you over there. We're going to be heading over to a Patreon stream. Usually it's like about 15 minutes after this one finishes. We start over there. So I would email you a link as well in between. Please do send that through. So big group hugs, everybody. You're getting in there before me. We are bringing it in. Bring it in. Feel the squeeze. That's what it's about. Big love to all of you, and really looking forward to catching up with you next week. Can't wait already. And yes, have an amazing week. Mwah. Bye for now. Take care of your beautiful selves, and I will see you very soon. Mwah. A bientôt.